For as long as I can remember, Pikmin 2 has always been my favorite Pikmin game, just for the amount of personality the collectibles had. In Pikmin 1, we had ship parts, and in Pikmin 3, we had fruit. But being able to collect these real-life items made me relate that much more to the world of Pikmin. Ship parts were definitely cool, but the whole vibe of the game was a little too serious for me. Fruit, on the other hand, I fucking hated fruit, I'm sorry. It just felt like such a downgrade. But Pikmin 2's collectibles had a certain charm. There was a globe, there was a Game Boy, there was a Duracell battery, there was a fucking weed leaf. Olimar got ripped, he was smoking that gas. I think the most exciting part of Pikmin 2 was seeing what kind of objects Nintendo were going to put in next. Pikmin 4 takes this treasure thing and expands upon it. Once again, the collectibles have a lot of personality. You can get a toy train, a Game Boy, and even a fidget spinner. But my favorite thing about these treasures is that they're placed into collections. In order to complete a set, you need to unlock every treasure in the collection. Then, the game will present you with a completed series achievement. Afterwards, you can check out the completed series in all its glory. Some are just a bunch of treasures scattered around the place, and others create something bigger. My job today is to rank every treasure collection in Pikmin 4. Now, there's not really a criteria. The only thing you need to know is I'm judging these collections as a whole. There may be some cool individual treasures, but if the way they're presented in the collection is bland, they're getting bumped down the list. This video is highly subjective, so if you're one of those people who don't like opinions on the internet, you're gonna hate the next 5 minutes of your life. But with all that being said, let's get into the list. Starting off with F tier, we only have one collection, and that's modern amenities. We have a lock, a bobby pin, a shit ton of buttons, and for some reason, the final boss's collar. This collection has no unity at all, and it's a shame that one of the coolest treasures in the game is put here of all places. At the bottom of D tier, we have Recreation Recollection, and I mean, it's not bad, but it's just so bland. I love sports and all, but this is just underwhelming, and the grip trainer feels very out of place. Next up, we have a three-way tie between the spring, summer, and autumn fruit series. This just feels lazy. I get what they were trying to go for, but when I imagine collecting treasures, I don't really want to pick up fruit. It's not that interesting, and I think we've had enough of that in Pikmin 3. Speaking of fruit, the Winter Reserve series ranks slightly above the others just for the fact that there's a juicer included. It's not much at all, but it gives this collection a sliver of personality compared to the rest. Stepping away from fruit, we have their evil counterparts, vegetables, or as Pikmin calls it, nature's candy. Yeah, no, not like candy at all. Once again, nothing special going on here, just another pile of food. Next up, we have, oh, what do you know? More fruit. But these ones taste really good. The Tropical Picking series ranks at the top of D tier for the sole fact that every single one of these fruits tastes good in real life. If you've never had dragon fruit, I highly recommend you give it a try. Moving on to C tier, we have the most important meal of the day. The Extravagant Breakfast series is just another collection of food, but I'd be lying if I said this image didn't make me hungry. Next up, we have the Paleontology series, and I mean, it's alright, but I feel like the mix of real fossils then some fish toys ruin whatever unity this collection has. Over here, we got the Sweet Tooth series, and although I'm not much of a dessert guy, I really like how the scene's arranged. Also, I'll collect candies over fruit any day of the week. Right in the middle of C tier, we have Collection Obsession. And I'm kind of disappointed in this one. I really don't think it'll be that difficult to add a few more cards to complete the whole suit. And I don't like how we just have bits of sparklium laying all over the place. It looks like your stereotypical rap music video. Next up, we got a bunch of stuff to put in your mouth. Oral Arguments is an interesting collection. Not necessarily bad, but the title's a little off-putting. And at the top of C tier, we have Bedtime Stories. It's just a bunch of little cute sponges with a chalk brush. Fuck it, why not? These treasures are simple and work well together. I can't complain. Here's where things start to get better, because at the bottom of B tier, we have the 3 Generations series. It's just a group of Matryoshka dolls, but I think it adds a nice nod to Russian culture. The Gimme Gimme series reminds me of my mom, because she loves gambling. Even more than her own children. Yeah, let's move on. Next up, we have the Great Adventure series, and this reminds me of all the times I go out and explore as a kid while my mom was at the casino. I gotta see a therapist. Taking a break from my early childhood trauma, our next collection is the Point of Honor series. I just like how these are all positioned, and the fact that they're stabbed into the ground instead of just laying there makes me like it even more. This next one's pretty interesting. The Gifts of Sages series is a bunch of machines that involve numbers, but the reason I like it so much is because the tally counter is displaying 2001, the year Pikmin 1 came out, and my birth year. The thermometer is holding a temperature of 36.8 degrees Celsius, but I don't know what it's referencing, if anything. If you know, please let me know in the comments though. Over here, we have the highest ranking food collection because this one's actually good. The Gourmet series features my favorite food, sushi, along with the kebab and a big hunk of meat. Just looking at the screen makes me hungry. The Dazzle series is a collection of jewelry. The theme's a little all over the place, but it still works. I think this collection looks pretty good in night mode because of the candle and the glow bracelets. And at the top of B tier, we have the sacred spheres. As a billiards player myself, I have to appreciate this collection. Although, I wish the balls were arranged properly in the rack. And now that I think about it, a pool cue treasure would have been sick. Starting up A tier, we have Sword and Shield. No, not that one. The good one. There we go. I don't know why, but this collection is so satisfying to look at. I love the way the plastic swords are pointing down towards the space pins, and the way it's arranged is very symmetrical. At first, the Soulful Artist series is underwhelming, but after giving it a closer look, you realize that the paint tubes correspond to Pikmin types, with the oldest generation of Pikmin being almost completely used and the most recent ones nearly untouched. I'm no English teacher, but I'm sure this has to be a metaphor for something. The Ultra Hyper Technology series is based off popular things in the 80s, and I'm all for it. Yeah, that's about all I can say about this collection. I just think it's cool. Next up, we have the Hands of Fate collection. I like this one a lot because we have so many different variations of dice, and the Nintendo playing cards in the background is a nice callback to the company's history. The Soulful Musician set is full of anything that makes a noise: whistles, bells, music boxes, and even an ocarina. Genuinely, this is a very interesting theme for a series. It just doesn't feel right putting a joke here. The next one is hella nostalgic because it reminds me we're not in 2020 anymore. Toys of the Giants is a very cool series. It has all the toys I used to play with as a kid. The paper swans, a fidget spinner, that ball thing, that other ball thing, a boat. And all in all, it's a really cool set. And at the top of A tier, we have the Ancient Secret series. This whole collection is full of landmarks and symbols of past human life. This probably ties into the lore of PNF 404 very well, but I just think it's hilarious we have the funny stone face emoji in Pikmin. With only 5 collections left, I think it's only fair we do S tier in a top 5 style. Coming in at 5th place, we have the Rubber Cutie series. You can't not love these guys. It's just a bunch of duck bros vibing out together, and the odd one out seems symbolic for the black sheep metaphor. In 4th place, I'm gonna put the newly nostalgic series. They got things as old as the SNES mouse all the way up to the modern day Joy-Cons. I bet that mouse doesn't have drift. There's quite a few references here, which is why I think it takes our number 4 spot. The next one is more than just your run-of-the-mill collection. All the pieces build to something greater. I was so excited to collect all the memory fragments because I knew we were going to build a mini puzzle. I wish more treasure collections did what this one did and built something up. Speaking of building, in 2nd place we have the Assembled Courage series. It's a fucking Gundam, man. How are you going to hate this? You literally build an action figure in Pikmin. The only reason it's not 1st place is because there's no actions. If you were able to make it walk or move around, I'd gladly put it in 1st place. But the best treasure in this game is the one, the only, Thomas the Train Tank Engine. Everything about this collection is perfect. The different colored rails, the train station, the train itself. I literally grew up with toy trains, and seeing it in Pikmin made me so happy. It's such a creative choice of things to collect, and it fits the embodiment of the Pikmin series to an absolute T. Now, there was only so much I could do with this video. Ranking inanimate objects is pretty cut and dry, and although you probably won't agree with my choices, I hope you enjoyed the list. I'm curious to know what your favorite collections are, so let me know in the comments. There's no wrong answer, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Except for you psychopaths who think one of these are creative. Your opinion doesn't matter. And also, before you go out and call child services, I have the best mom in the world. The things I said about her in this video was a joke. Love your mom.